everybody, welcome back. Today we'll be working on the Echo 355T, and the parts that it needed was going to be the bar and chain, a little service kit, mostly needed the air filter, and a clutch hub assembly for that also. And for the tune-up kit, that is a HIPA. There's the part number for that. The bar and chain, I bought the kit, so bar and chain come together. And if you just needed just the bar, there's the bar info right there. And as you can see, this is the 14-inch, 3/8 pitch, 50 thousandths gauge, and a 52 drive link. And that's pretty much all you really need to know about getting a chain. You need to know your pitch, you need to know your gauge, and you can get different 14-inch drive lengths. So sometimes you might be able to get a 51 or a 53. This one just happens to be a 52. And the way you can tell what pitch you need is a lot of times you can just go to the bar and read what's on the bar. So as you can see, this is a 14-inch, a 50 thousandths gauge, which means how thick that groove is on your bar. Your chain has to match that. And then there's your drive link, 52. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and pull the bar off and get that out of our way for right now. I will, this chain that's on here is in very good shape. It's just that the bar was in very bad shape. It had chunks missing out of the bar, stuff like that. Chain, the tip sprocket worn out. So he'll have a spare chain for this saw, and I will. Well, it's already been sharpened, and it still is good and sharp. So we'll just have a spare for this. This saw's been cleaned up once, but I used it in the video as a comparison with stock 355 versus my ported 355. So it's got a little bit of debris in it because of that. Use that box to put my bits and pieces in. This bar can go right in the trash. Because as you can see, like right there on the bottom here, that's a piece missing. And it has started to peel, so it's very thin. As you can see here, the sprocket has a lot of play in it. Another piece up here missing. The rails are unevenly worn. They're thicker on this side than they are on this side. And as you can see there, it's almost razor sharp along that edge there, where it's so thin. So on this bar here, this is probably the original, but it's a 14-inch, 50 thou, 52 drive lengths. So in the trash that goes. Like I say, the old chain, we're going to use it as a spare. We just put that in this bag for him. And they'll have it. All right. Now on this type of saw here, it's not quite as easy to remove the clutch hub assembly and sprocket. So you actually have to take the clutch off, remove the sprocket that way. So it's a little more involved in getting this off as it was the last one. So and to help us out with that, we will remove the starter side. We'll try that first. That way we can hold on to the flywheel while we're trying to get that off. be nice to put all the clutches the other way around. That way you just have to pull a clip, but not everybody can do that. This is how I take my clutches off. I do have one socket that is made up. A lot of people take an old socket that they have, you know, 3 or 4 of, and they'll make a tool out of it to remove a clutch. And this one designed for, like this one here, you kind of gotta like make a, see how that's like a 2-legged? This would have to be a 3-legged. And you can buy these online, those tools to get that stuff off. But that stuff can add up over time. You'll have a ton of money, because even the manufacturers themselves like still have like a couple different kinds because of the different size saws. You know, this range of saw to that range of saw will take this type of clutch removal tool, and then from that range of saws to that range of saw will be another tool. The same way with this. Your smaller saws will take one size tool, your larger saws will take another. Just take your time, be careful. You just got to remember which way to take them off. Well, I believe most of them are reversed. Yep. So just keep that in mind. Usually come off reverse. So that wasn't too bad. We got that off of there. And this new one, it comes with a new bearing for it. So the fractured one is a metal cage, and the aftermarket one is also a metal cage. There's some slight differences, but there usually is, not unless you buy exact, but this will work out just fine. Let's do a dry run, make sure it fits like it's supposed to, and it does. Everything feels good there. Make sure the back of it matches up with the oil pump drive, and it does. Just size up your clutches, make sure they're about the same, and they appear to be. And this is a 6-tooth drive, so is that one. You can take a look at the reason why I decided to replace it. You can see the one on this side is grooved out pretty bad. And then inside, there's a pretty good step in there. You can see that line in the back toward the bottom there. Yeah, that's a, you can catch your fingernail on that pretty easily. So it has worn it pretty thin compared to what it should be. We are going to reuse the clutch itself. We're just going to clean it up a little bit because it does have some debris stuck to it from the oils and stuff, greases. Alright. So the first thing we need to do is like we did on the last one. Make sure everything's good and clean. And grease the bearing. And again, greasing this bearing is a maintenance thing too. You don't grease them once and forget about them. You need to be taken off every once in a while and re-greased. Just like any other bearing. Don't forget your washer. Like I almost did. Make sure everything feels good before you tighten it up good. Everything seems to be alright. Give this a couple hits. And once we get it fired up and warmed up, we'll give it a couple full squirts and hit the brake, and that'll help should help lock it on there a little bit, work down a bit. The biggest thing that this needed was an air filter, because that was horrible. Excuse me. So there we go. Huge difference there. When they start getting plugged up like this one here, they start losing power and torque, start to become less efficient, start burning more fuel. Well, this way then. I guess where this was in the box, it's got a little deformed. It wants to fight me a little bit. HIPAA, if you're listening, don't put them in such a small box, because they'll curl up. It amazes me, for the most part, this saw has to breathe through right up there. See those little slots there? And it does get some of it through here. There's a rubber boot that connects it from here to here. And this shroud assembly helps feed it in that direction. So, it does okay. I'm sure there's some improvements there. Kind of like what I did with mine. You know what? We are going to put that on there. Yeah, we are going to put it in. I'm pretty sure that this is probably the original. And it's probably in good enough shape. But where it's the original, it has probably been in there for a good while. So we are going to change it. So there's the new filter. It is slightly different, a little bit larger. But it will definitely work. Maybe. It's a pretty good size. Make sure it's facing the right way. Like this one right here, right now, it seems to want to point itself upward. You want to make sure it's laying across the floor of the tank. And now it is. Just got to put this back on. Most of your smaller stuff like this, anywhere from 20 to 25 thousandths. On my own stuff, I will run them at 30 thou. So this is already preset to 25. Especially if it's been modified a little bit. Open it up a little bit, give you a little bit bigger spark. And I've never had an issue. It has seemed to perform fine. And that's my own experience. Remember, we got to crush that washer. And then make sure it's snug after that. And most people don't mind that when they're able to get back up and running now. Because it seems like that's what the world is all about now. Is go, go, go. This bar has already been pre-greased with some sort of red grease. So we are good to go there. And this bar and chain combo will fit multiple saws. And you can usually find this on the back of all the packages. But just because this says and it's for your saw doesn't necessarily mean that's what's on your saw. A guy brought me a saw the other day, and when he called me up and says, look, I got a saw, I just put this bar and or chain on it and all, and it says, and it keeps coming off. He goes, can I bring it by? I said, yep. Bring it by, I'll take a look at it, see what we got. And when he got there, I took a look at it for him, and something just didn't seem right, because for a brand spanking new chain, it the drive links were boogered up really bad. So that's telling me that it is not meshing with something properly. And so I measured the pitch on the chain and compared to what it said on the bar. And they did not match. And I let him know that. I said, well, I just bought it and that's what it said it needed. I said, I understand that, but and I'm sorry that it happened to you. I said, but these are not compatible with each other. You'll have to go buy new. Nothing really I can do for you. It's boogered up so bad. So he had to go buy new again. And I showed him what to look for. I let him know that he's got to match the sprocket. And a lot of times it'll be stamped on the sprocket on what it is. And then he's got to look at the bar and take a look at the bar like I showed you guys a few minutes ago. And make sure all of it is compatible with each other. Because a 3/8 and a .325 are very similar. But they will not mesh perfectly. They'll mesh to get you by, but they won't mesh perfectly. Some people will put one on there, a 3/8 on a .325, and not even realize that there's an issue. It'll mesh fairly well, but it's not perfect. We are just about done with this saw. I'll show you guys again that you're going to adjust all your saws the same way. I showed you on, I believe, the last video on that Stihl 250 about adjusting. And if you adjust your saw chain too tight, all you're going to do is prematurely wear it out. You're going to wear the chain out. You're going to wear out the nose. You're going to wear out the nose sprocket. You can wear out your sprocket, your drive sprocket. You can actually wear out your crank bearing on the PTO side, all prematurely. So you don't need your saw chains banjo tight. As you can see right now, I got play there. And we're going to adjust our adjuster until we get that play out. Comes up to the bottom of the bar and just touches it. And we're there. Take our saw, tilt it forward, get all that slack out. See all that slack that just came back in it? And we're going to get that slack out until it comes up, touches the bottom of the bar, and we're done. Now, this is a brand new chain, brand new bar, and a brand new clutch sprocket. So you're going to get an initial wear, and you're going to get that pretty quickly. So you'll probably have to do this at least one more time, possibly two. And And make sure you do that like this. Don't do what I do and grab it with your hands. It's a good way to get cut. It looks like it may have been greased from the factory, but we're going to shoot a little more in there. And we're going to give it a turn there. And then we're going to go to the other side of the bar. We're going to shoot a little bit on that part. And that should be enough. We're going to give that a little bit of a turn to distribute that. So between your grease and your bar oil, that'll keep that bar lasting a long time for you. So we're going to go ahead and fire this up, and you're liable to see by the time I get it fired up, warmed up, a few revs on it, that chain will probably come loose a little bit then, and it will probably may need a little bit of adjustment. I think we got enough fuel in here. We'll see. Go. That's what I'm talking about. That's your initial break-in. So it has loosened up that much. Between that little bit of a break-in, chain gets a little bit warm, starts to expand a little bit. But that's what will happen with a brand new bar chain. Is you'll get that initial stretch right off the bat. When you seen me holding the sole on its side, right? When I'm doing that, I'm listening to see if I hear any changes in the motor. That can indicate that I might have an air leak, and that air leak would probably be right around the crankshaft seals. So everything sounded fine then. So that's it for the Echo 355T. It is good to go. Servicing is done with it. I thank you for visiting my channel. And give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, be kind, and help people when you can.